Well, in case you were wondering why Russian fuel production plant in Ust-Lug, which is about 900 kilometers away from Ukrainian borders, suddenly caught fire and halted production, I'm here to clear the fog for you. Yes, it was us. Good afternoon, this is Henry Keane in the UATV English studio, getting ready to give some hard truth in easy terms for the whole free world directly from Ukraine. The blaze was the result of external influence, Russian Novatek plant administration said on Sunday, citing preliminary information and without any elaborating. Well, what could Russians elaborate anyway? Like, yes, Ukrainian drones flew in out of the blue and then exploded and fuel went on fire, and this is why we don't work? Well, wouldn't that be a boring elaboration? You know what? Let us on UATV elaborate that for you, dear world. Damn yes. It was us Ukrainians and our Ukrainian drones. And between January 1821, Russian army support facilities in the Leningrad, Tambov and Bryansk regions were attacked by us. By the way, you only listen to that. Leningrad region, right? That grad in Leningrad is an old Russian for city. So Russians literally still have their Lenin city. It's like Germans would have their Hitlerburg or Americans their Manson city. Well, as the oil industry is the main source of income of Russia to finance the aggressive war against us in Ukraine, the oil depot in Klintsi and oil terminals in St. Petersburg and Ust-Lug are legitimate military targets, full stop. And so the Ukrainian defense forces are increasing their capability to strike in the deep Russian rear. For the first time, at a distance of more than 900 kilometers. Among the affected targets this time was Tambov gunpowder plant, which operates to meet the military needs, of course. So yes, Ukrainian forces hit hard and far. 1,000 kilometers next time, maybe? Some say, oh, you Ukrainians can't really be shelling Russian territory. Well, just watch us. We, as a country that has been subjected to full-scale brutal armed aggression of Russia, has all the legal rights to attack military targets on its territory. All rights, I repeat, both legal and moral.
The war is increasingly entering the territory of the undisputed aggressor, Russian Federation. And this is about justice and historical inevitability. The gas terminal in the Leningrad region is an extremely sensitive echo of the aggression. Mikhailo Podolyak, advisor to the head of the Office of the President of Ukraine, on social network X, formerly Twitter.
This way or the other, it is now the bare fact. The large territory of the Russian Federation has finally ceased to be an advantage for the aggressor in the war with Ukraine. The Russians are now forced to transfer more and more air defense systems from the front line to protect the rear. But let me reassure you, Russians, we in Ukraine will make sure it won't be enough ever. So back off to Russia, will you? Today is January 22, the day of unity in Ukraine, the day of proclamation of Act of Unification of the Ukrainian People's Republic and the West Ukrainian People's Republic in 1919, 105 years ago. This special day symbolizes an actual unity and independence of our state, the real will of citizens, regardless of their nationality, to be one. One as a country in general, while being each a separate and independent personality in particular. Unity is a crucial factor of the sovereignty and not only territorial integrity of Ukraine, but national just as well. This is no pretentious speech I'm trying to throw here. It's a bare fact. In February 2022, it was us, the people of Ukraine, who said no, Russia won't win, and all the political and executive and legislative branches followed Ukrainian national will. So you see, unity really actually physically exists in Ukraine. We tested it in many times and ways.
Exactly 105 years ago, right here on Sophia Square in Kyiv, the following lines were proclaimed. The age-old dreams have come true, dreams that the best sons of Ukraine lived for and died for. From now on, the parts of the single Ukraine, separated for centuries, are united into one. These are the words of the Unification Act, which brought together the Ukrainian lands on both banks of the Dnipro River into a single state. And on this occasion, today we celebrate the Day of Unity of Ukraine. Every year, on January 22nd, we have always recalled two key lessons of those times, two guiding principles for all generations of the Ukrainian nation. To gain your own statehood, you have to fight. To preserve it, you have to unite.
We also tested our will for unity 10 years ago when Russia began attempting to destroy the very foundation of our nation. The aggressor country has then encroached on Ukrainian sovereignty, and since the beginning of the full-scale invasion, it has also attempted to destroy us, committing a genocide of Ukrainians. Well, it's simple. We are marking today not only something we remember back then. Today we mark our resilience and readiness of our men and women to fight the invaders and not to give up on our homelands.
In 1990, thousands of Ukrainians created the living chain of subordinates uniting the country and showed the world their desire for freedom. Today, the subordinates chain is a front line on which thousands of Ukrainian soldiers united in the battle for independence and freedom. And we know that the whole Ukraine is fighting with our soldiers. Our unity is our weapon. Valery Zaluzhny, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, on Facebook.
You see, any negotiations with the invaders are not possible until they are invaders. Only after Russia completely withdraws its troops from the internationally recognized borders of Ukraine, then maybe we talk. It is not me or President Zelensky or anyone else in Ukraine saying that. It is us, the Ukrainians, who molded in a strong and unbreakable nations more than a century ago, and who will defend our rights for an independent and sovereign country. Because how can you call life something that is not? On January 21st, the Russians shelled the Tekstylnyk neighbourhood in the temporarily occupied Donetsk, of course, accusing the armed forces of Ukraine of it. According to the occupation administration, 28 civilians were killed and 25 were injured. The operational and strategic grouping of Tavria troops of the Defense Forces of Ukraine officially refuted accusations of Russian propaganda. We don't burn our homeland. We don't shell our people. And there are our people living there. I stress on temporarily occupied territories of Ukraine. Ukraine does not fight with civilians, you see. Instead, we carry out high-precision strikes on military targets. Remember that fuel plant 900 kilometers away? Well, that was us. And Donetsk, this is Russian deed.
Russians spread information about the attack on the market in Donetsk. We responsibly declare that the forces under the command of the operation grouping of troops Tavria, in this case, did not conduct combat operation with means of destruction. Donetsk is Ukraine. Russia will have to be responsible for the lives of Ukrainians taken. Joint Press Center of the Tavria Defense Task Force on Facebook.
And Russia? Well, what about it? It's usual Russia. It commits a crime and says, we didn't do it. It was them, Ukrainians. Well, according to the Kremlin, it was us Ukrainians killing us Ukrainians in Bucha, raping ourselves, burning our homes, abducting our own children. We even started a war against ourselves. Only think about it. After this bloody crime in Donetsk, Russia initiated a special meeting of the UN Security Council, and Lavrov already came to New York to tell you about such bloody Ukrainians, and of course he will accuse our Western partners of that. It was their weapon, and now they must stop the supply of weapons to Ukraine. In easy terms, the purpose of the Russian dirty game is to block international assistance to Ukraine that enables it to repel Russian aggression, blaming Kiev for the death of civilians in Donetsk. The Kremlin is trying to shift the focus, you see, from what? Well, you name it. From tactical defeats and losses on the battlefield, from failed Kiev in 3 days operation, as well as utility catastrophe in the temporarily occupied territories. From the facts of oppressing and torturing Donetsk residents by the occupation authorities, from the very fact what Russia was, is, and always will be a terrorist state trying to accuse others of its bloody deeds. Thank you for watching. It was Henry Keane on UATV Studio, bringing the hard truth in easy terms for you today. I hope you like what we do for you. So if you do, help us. Like, share, subscribe. Help us to deliver Ukrainian voice worldwide and to make it be heard. And let us know what you think in the comments below. We appreciate that a lot. Well, stay safe and tuned for more. See you tomorrow, folks.